My name's Ross Lindhout. I'm a marketing specialist here at Rehmann, and today I'm joined by Adam Lewan, Business Development Executive for Rehmann Technology Solutions, to talk about outsourcing IT. So for this installment of Empowered Chats, we're joined by Adam. Thank you so much for joining us today, Adam.
Thanks, Ross. Thanks for having me.
So when talking about outsourcing for IT, there's a term that I've seen and that's come up, and I'm unfamiliar with it, and our audience may be too. So I wanted to first elaborate on what that term is, and it's Industry 4.0. So could you explain what that means and kind of how it relates to outsourcing in IT?
Sure. So Industry 4.0 references the fourth industrial revolution. So let's go back a second to the first industrial revolution, which was steam power and the steam engine. The second industrial revolution was the introduction of electricity and the assembly line. The third industrial revolution is basically when computers first came out. So those computers are capturing the manufacturing data. And then there's the fourth industrial revolution, which we call Industry 4.0. And this is with the help of the internet, cloud computing, as well as the Internet of Things. Not only are we capturing that manufacturing data from the machine level, those machines are actually taking that data and communicating with each other and making a decision without any human interaction. So I'll give you a quick, pretty easy example. A machine in a manufacturing facility, it has some sensors on it. And let's say this machine is drilling a hole into a piece of sheet metal. There's a sensor that is actually tracking the wear on the drill on the machine. And once the wear on the drill gets to a certain level, the sensor is going to notice that, and it's automatically going to call a maintenance technician to go to that machine and go and replace that drill. So to bring it all around, you're basically, all these machines are talking to each other and taking actions or making a decision without any human interaction. So it increases efficiency within the manufacturing space. So that's a high level overview of Industry 4.0. It's the next industrial revolution where everything is communicating with each other, all the machines and your software and everything is all interconnected so that you can make better decisions faster.
That really, the visual you gave was great. The example you gave was great. So thank you for that.
Good. One thing to add with the Industry 4.0 thing is all these sensors that they're putting on these machines, they're all connected to the internet. So we're seeing an exponential increase in endpoints. Each one of those endpoints is a window to a cyber event. So as we see this exponential increase in endpoints, we're also seeing exponential increase in risk of a cyber event, which is why we are so interested in learning more about Industry 4.0 and all these technologies around IoT and cloud computing and everything, because we're seeing a lot of organizations out there that are seeing an increased or an uptick in different types of cyber events because of this.
Yeah, and I think that's a great segue into my next question. So with this uptick of cyber events, when, in your opinion, should an organization consider outsourcing their IT?
So every organization is different, has a different reason to outsource, but the one that we are seeing that is the most prevalent right now is the staffing issues. In the last 2 years, it's been really hard to fill seats, especially in the IT space. There's lots of different core competencies within the IT space, and there's a ton of demand for these core competencies, but not enough people to fill those seats. So it's really important to find an IT partner that has those core competencies, and they can actually kind of fill in those gaps with the people that you're not able to find right away. Or maybe it will take $200,000 or $300,000 a year salary to get them. Maybe you want to outsource and save some of that money, and still get that expertise without having to pay that big salary on top of the benefits and everything else.
Yeah, that's a great point. And kind of piggybacking off of that, so you kind of brought up the point, if you're a business and you don't have the staff in place, that is probably a good time to look into outsourcing. But can you offer kind of the other side of the house? So say you do have some staff in place, is there still a way to incorporate outsourcing without, I guess, replacing that staff?
Absolutely. I would say that most of our clients that have a managed IT agreement with us they also have an IT staff. It could be one, it could be five, but what we call this is a co-managed agreement. And this is actually extremely beneficial if you do have one or two IT guys. The reason being, these IT guys frequently are usually doing mundane tasks like patching the applications that they have in their tech stack, as well as answering service tickets for all the users within the organization.
Right.
Instead of
like day to day, like they kind of bogged down with the day-to-day operations.
They're bogged down with the day-to-day operations, and they can't focus their time to use their real skills with optimizing their current systems and their environment and focusing on new IT projects and implementation of new technology. They're not able to do that because they're bogged down with these mundane everyday tasks. So a lot of our clients enter into a co-managed agreement with us where they offload those mundane tasks to Rehmann, and we take care of the patching and the monitoring and answering those service tickets with our 24/7 service desk. And their IT guys can actually focus on optimizing their business processes and implementation of new technology and researching new technology and seeing what works and what won't, so they can get the competitive edge to win new business. So it's actually, outsourcing is a scary word, but the way we do it, it's actually advantageous for the existing IT employees within the organization in most cases.
That's great. And you mentioned it can be a scary word, which kind of made me think of this next question I had on deck. Are there any risks to outsourcing? And if so, how can you minimize them, or how does the Rehmann team kind of help address and minimize those risks of outsourcing?
So the main risk with outsourcing is that you are taking a chunk of your business and giving it to a third party to manage. So there's always risk with that when you're relying on a third party. My recommendation is to do your due diligence and vet out your IT partners before you enter into any agreement. There's lots of small IT partners that maybe you need 24-hour, 7-day-a-week support. There's lots of small IT partners that guarantee that, but if they have, there's a tragedy with one of their employees that's in the hospital and all of a sudden they don't have it. That's just one example of the risk that's involved. So you want to make sure that you vet out your IT partner very carefully. You want to make sure that they're the right size, and you have to actually understand what exactly you need, and you need to make sure that they can provide that to you. So that's the biggest risk it's carefully choosing your IT partner. and making sure you go to the right one, because the risk is going to the wrong one and it ultimately affecting your business.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, I think your insights on outsourcing and technology solutions have been amazing. Do you have any final thoughts on outsourcing? Anything you want to share on Raymond's capabilities? Kind of leave it as an open floor for you here as we close out.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to outsourcing or entering into an agreement with an IT partner where they take some of the tasks off your table, off your plate. But in today's environment with the staffing shortages and transition to work from home, it's more important than ever, especially with the work from home transition. All these organizations got laptops for their employees, and they did it very fast without thinking about putting the necessary controls in place to secure all these additional endpoints that they rapidly acquired within a few months during the start of the pandemic. If you have any issues or with staffing or with the IT, anything IT related, reach out to me, or reach out to Rehmann Technology Solutions, and we will take care of you.
Well, sounds good. I appreciate your time, Adam. Thank you so much for your insights.